So hello everyone, and welcome to this new edition of the UN Tourism Affiliate Members Corner at Fitur. Just as a reminder, you need to get your headset in order to listen to plug it into the machine that is on your right in order to listen to the sound. And yes, as I was saying, it's a pleasure to have you all here today in this UN Tourism Affiliate Members Corner, where we will be analyzing different travel segments. This UN Tourism Affiliate Corner started in 2020 and has become a space for affiliate members of UN Tourism to share knowledge and ideas. And we have been evolving in terms of topics. We have been discussing in previous year how destinations can create new products, or last year, for example, we saw how different countries are behaving in terms of their outbound market. And in this particular edition, we will be analyzing how different travel segments behave. And the idea is for each affiliate member to share how they specifically target different segments where they are best at. We have actually an exceptional lineup of presenters today. Each of them will share valuable insights into the segments that we have been seeing. The idea is for the presentations to serve as inspiration and actionable practices for other entities that want to also attract that particular segment. And without further ado, the first one that we'll have today will be Petra, an iconic place that I'm sure many of us have visited. And we are very lucky to have Dr. Fares Braizat, Chief Commissioner at the Petra Development and Tourism Region Authority, who will be guiding us on how to best attract tourists that appreciate culture, authentic experience, and there is no better place to live that than Petra. So I would like to give the stage to Dr. Fares.
I can speak. This is the next. Okay, great. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. My name is Fares Braizat. I am the Chief Commissioner of Petra Authority in Jordan. And today I will be speaking to you about some of the new additions, the cultural experiences, what we call experiential hospitality in Petra. As you know, we have developed over the past few years a number of long-term plans. One of them is a project that we carried out with the JICA, the Japanese International Development Agency, to conduct 58 projects over the next 10 years in order to put Petra on the sustainable track for experiential hospitality and to make it a sustainable green destination, not only within the archaeological park, but also throughout the archaeological park and the region outside the archaeological park. These 58 projects would cost around 50 million USD, and they are slotted around 5 major pillars. Pillar number 1, destination management, research and development, product design, sales and promotion, service and hospitality. And the history of Petra, since it was established as a World Heritage Site in 1985, has become a place where a lot of interest, whether it's internal or external, is coming in. 2007, it has become one of the 7 wonders of the world. The population of the whole area is 40,000 people, so it's not big, but still we are making sure that everyone is totally integrated in the transformation process in the sustainability of Petra. We have been working a lot on developing some cultural experiences, but as a background, According to a study conducted by the UN Tourism, the visitors, the global visitors today, the age range of cultural tourists, strong representation among 35 to 54 years old, and increasing participation from the millennials and Generation Z. For education, predominantly well-educated with significant portion holding university degrees. Those are the cultural tourists that we are targeting. And the income level, typically higher income travelers, average annual income often exceeds $75,000. A deeper dive into the cultural tourism, the travel habits of those individuals. Cultural tourists with itineraries focusing on historical landmarks. The average spending per trip is around 1,000 to 3,000 US dollars, and for domestic travelers, and 3,000 to 5,000 for international travelers. Duration of stay, trips tend to be longer, average 5 to 10 days for international visitors, and local cultural tourists may spend shorter time frames such as only weekends, which is reasonable. Demographic, 60% plus female participation in many cultural travel segments. Couples, small groups, and solo travelers are common. In Petra, cultural experiences in a nutshell would include a film-making destination. Many of, like this one, Indiana Jones, was filmed in Petra. Now, one of the activities that we are trying to increase in Petra, we have designed, rehabilitated, and introducing new trails, 27 trails that we have already completed, almost completed. They would include the cultural trails, ecotourism, agritourism, archaeological, astronomy, meditation, and others. This is only one of the trails that you can walk through the hills of Petra. Another thing that we have introduced last year, Petra is home to 10 archaeologically proven churches, something that Petra is not or was not known for. Last year, we managed to introduce Christian pilgrimage and invited bishops from the Catholic, the Catholic and the Orthodox churches to perform prayers in Petra at the, as you can see, at the Byzantine church, which has beautiful floors of mosaic maps. Today, we are proud to invite more people to come and to experience that. The Bedouin lifestyle experience, something that is, as you know, at the UNESCO, the Bedouin culture of Petra and Wadi Rum is recognized by the UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage. Today, we have 6 communities in Petra comprising of 36 different tribes, and these communities, for each of them, we will have a Bedouin tent like the one you see on the screen here behind me, to present their own cultural experience as a Bedouin authentic experience of the area. The Nabatean rituals experience at the high place of sacrifice. It's a new experience that we'll be introducing very soon, and that experience basically would offer visitors how the Nabateans used to do their worship and what kind of procedures they have done in the past. The Nabatean Heritage Market, again, this is a AI generated picture, but we envisage something like that, where we bring to life the Nabatean lifestyle as it used to be in the past, including the marketplace, how they used to do trade, how they celebrated a birth of a child, how women gathering at night would look like, how would they ask for a hand of a bride, marriage rituals, how would all that happen. So that will be reintroduced as a cultural experience. The Nabatean Custom Heritage Museum, a walk through timeless fashion. This is again to show how the Nabateans used to address their designs, for what occasions they wore what kind of clothes, and that is going to be an experience where people can actually live the experience, including wearing the same clothes as the Nabateans used to do. This is a short video representing some of these events in Petra. And thank you very much. For those of you who have not been to Petra, you are more than welcome to visit us, and we'd love to continue the conversation to take it further. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Fares, for taking us to beautiful Petra. And now I would like to introduce Ms. Linda Ristaño. She's the Assistant Director of External Affairs at the International Air Transport Association, and she will be talking to us about how best to attract tourists that have special needs in terms of accessibility. At the end, when we travel, from the very moment that we get into the plane, we go to the airport, we go to the hotel, people with special needs face many challenges that destination needs to adapt to. So Linda will be talking more in depth about that.
Okay. Good. Thank you so much. Can you hear me well? Excellent. So today I would like just to bring you through the topic that we are really looking at very closely within IATA. For whomever is not familiar with IATA, IATA is the International Air Transport Association, and we represent more than 300 global airline members. So accessibility is one of the priorities for us, accessibility for persons with disabilities, for the aging population, and at the end, accessibility for all. So we have started this program in IATA, this priority in IATA in 2018, when I started in this position. And why this is important for our airline members? Why this is important for the society? It's important because persons with disabilities are more than 1.3 billion in the world. So it's the 16% of the world population. And this includes persons with physical disabilities and visible and less visible disabilities. But this includes everyone. That's why in IATA, immediately when we started this file, we started talking about not about disability, because disability is related to the person, but about accessibility. So how to make transportation, in this case aviation, accessible for everyone. In terms of international regulations, we have the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities that talks to three main priorities. The first is about environment, so how we make environment less disabled and more accessible for persons who have impairments. The second one is transportation, so how we make transportation accessible. And the third one is technology. So IATA has embraced all the three priorities for the UN from the UN Convention. And the second reason why we are doing this is not only because it's the right thing to do, it's not only because there is a convention there, it's because it makes business sense. Because can you imagine targeting 1.3 billion of people that today not everyone is able to travel with safety and with dignity. That's why we started, the first thing we thought to a strategy. So what are we going to do in terms of targeting these persons to make sure that they travel with us? So the first was to look at policy and regulations to make to put regulators together And we are doing this through the UN organization that looks at aviation, that is the International Civil Aviation Organization. Then we were doing our homework, so reviewing standards, operational procedures, and allowing other means of transport, but also, for example, destination management, GDS, booking travel agents, to use our standards and operational procedures, because those can be transferable. So everybody can use the same standard, but everybody can use the same language for the benefit of the passengers. Same thing to the outreach of the community. How do we know what we want to do if we don't ask the disabled community what they need? So for us, the principle, nothing for us without us, that is the overarching principle of the UN Convention, is a mantra. So whatever we do, the persons with disabilities are part of the process. And finally, make it part of the brand. We need to work all together. Why aviation is leading the way in this case? It's because without aviation, in most of the cases, there is no tourism. And we need to target everyone, because tourism is a universal right per se. Everybody has the right to visit destinations. But how do we bring people to certain destinations if we are not accessible? How we make destinations accessible as well? So I just wanted to look at some of the best practices that you can find on our website. The first is about the guidance on the safe transport of mobility aids, that is very technical, but allows operator to know exactly if a person travels with a mobility aid, a wheelchair, especially battery powered, that are very technological and very specific and tailored to the need of the person, what they have to do, so that this battery-powered mobility aid, this wheelchair, arrives at destination and is safely loaded in the belly, in the cargo compartment of the aircraft. So basically, under your seats. The second one is the one click away. So the first is about transportation and also physical environment, so the aircraft. The second is about technology. We run a proof of concept that now has become one of our best practices, and it's called one click away. So giving the opportunity is technology and communication. Giving the opportunity to the person through one single click from the main web page of the airline's website to understand, read, know, exactly understand what they have to do in terms to prepare for the travel. This is extremely important because when we started looking at websites, we realized that the information were or non-existent or were fragmented, and the passengers didn't know what to expect. Now, aviation is heavily regulated, so major regulations are included into because passengers have to know their rights, no? But this now is easy to be found, and it's written in plain language, so everybody can understand. The third one is about special service assistance. How do we provide to passengers the assistance they need according to their disability or the physical requirements? And special service assistance in aviation is translated into codes. We communicate, in aviation, we don't communicate in plain language ourselves. We communicate through codes that mean specific things. What we realized is that the passenger was identifying, especially passengers with disabilities, were identifying themselves with a code. They were going to the airlines and they were saying, I'm a WCHR. That means I need the wheelchair accommodation up through the ramp because one, I'm at the ramp, I can walk by myself. And we're saying, okay, but you are not telling us what you need. You are identifying yourself. This is not right because you can provide different and varied assistance to the passengers according not to their disability, but what they ask us to provide and to give. To do this, we had to do not only our homeworks to review standards, but to educate as well travel agents and airlines. So the best practice on the application of assistance service today provides, again, in very simple language, plain language, provides the information to travel agents, to airlines, on how to ask the passenger the right questions and how to transfer that information into the systems. So once the passenger arrives at destination, very important, they have the same information and the same assistance service. So what is the way forward for all of this? Accessibility is a journey. We are never done because society is not up to date. Society is changing, but society up to date has not been thought or designed with all abilities in mind. So the way forward is, first of all, the provision of accessibility services is a moral imperative. We must do this. We must do this together for best society and for allowing everyone to travel. The second is that we cannot do by ourselves. We need support, and we need to work together with destination management organizations, with the hotelery, and we are doing. And finally, there are costs, of course, and we have to look how to associate those according to which kind of organization we are tackling. But I'm not going to go there. It's not the right time. But thank you so much for your time. I hope I was quick. Thanks. And I hope I was clear. Thank you. Thank you. I can give you.
Thank you, Linda, for your words and reminding us that travel must be for everyone. And next, we are going to another very exciting destination, Tanzania. We have the pleasure to have Ms. Veshna Glamuchanim, board member of the Tanzania Association of Tour Operators, who will be talking how to best attract tourists that are more mindful about the footprint that they leave. So, Veshna, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes. Hola, Jambo. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking your time and being here with us today. So, we are entering a new era of tourism, one where the focus is no longer just about visiting destinations. It's about fully immersing ourselves in the experiences, engaging all 5 senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching. But of course, when it comes to wildlife, you must observe from a safe distance. The key takeaway today is clear. Travelers are no longer just tourists. They are active participants in the life of the places they visit. As the world evolves, so does the concept of tourism. Eco-conscious travelers are reshaping the industry, placing an increasing emphasis on sustainability, conservation, and cultural engagement. This is not just a passing trend, it's a powerful movement. We are proud to share that Tanzania was recently voted the #1 safari destination in the world by the World Travel Awards 2024. This recognition highlights Tanzania's unwavering commitment to preserving the natural wonders that make it a premier global tourism hub. Our goal today is simple: to share how TATO, Tanzania Association of Tour Operators, and Tanzania are leading the way in ecotourism, conservation, and community engagement, while offering valuable insights for both travelers, and stakeholders. Let's take a moment to look at the bigger picture. The eco-conscious traveler segment is growing rapidly. Ecotourism is now valued at $400 billion globally, with an annual growth rate of 15%. A remarkable 73% of travelers now prioritize sustainability when making travel decisions. Moreover, 60% of travelers actively seek out educational experiences focused on biodiversity conservation, and 55% are willing to pay more for sustainable travel options. This shift isn't just about preferences, it's reshaping the future of tourism. So, what are today's eco-conscious travelers really looking for? It's about more than just a beautiful destination. They seek authenticity, cultural experiences that support local communities while fostering conservation. They are drawn to eco-certified accommodation and carbon-neutral activities that align with their values. At the core of their desires is a deep connection with nature, culture, and communities, all while maintaining a commitment to sustainability. This shift is driving the demand for ecotourism around the world. So how does Tanzania fit into this global movement? Tanzania is more than just a destination. It's a leader in ecotourism and conservation, with over 30% of the country's vast 945,000 square kilometers designated as protected land, including national parks and reserves. This commitment to conservation ensures that our wildlife and landscapes remain pristine for future generations. Did you know that there are over 120 tribes in Tanzania? Tanzania and TATO members champion community-based tourism, working closely with local tribes to offer travelers an authentic and meaningful cultural experiences. With the development of eco-certified lodges and an increasing number of carbon-neutral travel options, such as electric safari vehicles, TATO members are minimizing tourism's environmental impact while promoting sustainable practices. A prime example of Tanzania's dedication to conservation is the Serengeti Desnaring Program, initiated by TATO in 2017. In collaboration with Tanzania National Parks, TANAPA, and Frankfurt Zoological Society, this initiative funds desnaring teams that remove deadly snares set by poachers in the Serengeti. These snares, primarily intended to trap wildebeest for bush meat, pose a threat to all wildlife, not just the intended targets. Thanks to TATO members who contribute $1 per traveler per day to fund the program, desnaring teams have now removed over 100,000 snares since the program started in 2017. What's more, the program employs ex-poachers from surrounding communities, giving them a sustainable livelihood while protecting wildlife. As a result, the 2024 Serengeti wildebeest census confirmed an increase in the wildebeest population. But conservation is just one part of the story. Equally important is culture, and one of the most remarkable aspects of Tanzania's ecotourism is community-based tourism. One example is the Hadza people of Lake Eyasi. These ancient hunter-gatherers, also called the last of the firsts, they offer travelers an authentic, immersive experience while protecting their ancestral lands. Visiting the Hadza community directly supports sustainable income for the Hadza, which helps preserve their unique culture. Additionally, promoting walking safaris reduces the carbon footprint of tourism, making cultural experiences more eco-friendly. When we think about safari ecotourism, accommodation and transportation are key elements. Tanzania is making impressive strides in both areas. More and more lodges are obtaining eco-certification, and TATO members are piloting electric safari vehicles that reduce safari-related carbon emissions. In 2024, TATO also launched a code of conduct and ethics for safari guides to ensure responsible tourism practices. The code educates visitors on appropriate behaviors while in Tanzania's wilderness, ensuring a more sustainable and respectful experience for everyone. The code is available in 9 languages and can be easily downloaded from the TATO website, ensuring that tourists are well prepared before they even arrive. Okay. While we have made significant progress, we must acknowledge that there are still challenges in the development of ecotourism. Issues such as overcrowding in some areas, community resistance, and infrastructure gaps, they need to be addressed. At the same time, we must continue educating travelers about eco-conscious practices. Simple actions like staying in eco-certified accommodations, respecting wildlife, and minimizing waste can all contribute to sustainable tourism. The solution lies in collaboration. By working together, we can ensure sustainable growth in ecotourism. We can diversify ecotourism products, develop new attractions to relieve pressure on popular sites, and strengthen partnership with local communities. Additionally, enhancing marketing strategies to showcase Tanzania's sustainability efforts will attract more eco-conscious travelers, ensuring the protection of our natural resources while securing a sustainable future for all. And this brings us to our call to action. To all stakeholders, invest in sustainable tourism, infrastructure, and community initiatives. To all travelers, come to Tanzania for a truly unforgettable, eco-friendly adventure. Together, we can create a future where tourism not only supports conservation, but also empowers communities and safeguards our planet's treasures for generations to come. Thank you. Gracias. Karibu Tanzania. Hopefully I was not too
Thank you, Vesna, and also thank you for the very kind invitation to Tanzania. And now we have another very exciting destination, Cartagena de Indias. Actually, UN Tourism was lucky to hold its executive council very recently in this amazing city. And we'll be talking about business travelers, but the approach that Cartagena has to business travelers is a bit different, because at the end they offer a lot of leisure. So they give to the tourist this new trend of leisure. But we'll have Liliana Rodriguez Hurtado, Executive President of the Cartagena de Indias Tourism Corporation, explaining more about how they do it there.
Muy buenos días para todos. Realmente es un placer enorme para nosotros desde Cartagena de Indias y como la entidad de promoción de destino poder tener este espacio como un miembro afiliado reciente en el pasado Consejo Ejecutivo número 122 en Cartagena de Indias, y esa es nuestra primera participación como miembro afiliado. Quiero empezar un poco a hacer un recorrido de lo que es la industria de los negocios del segmento MICE, no solamente para Cartagena, sino también para Colombia, siendo este un sector muy importante que representó el 15% del total del segmento de turismo para Colombia en general. Y en materia de ingresos, el gasto promedio de turistas es de $1.200 en cada uno de los eventos, y esto corresponde al 40% más de lo que representa el segmento vacacional en materia de gasto promedio por turista. Acá contarles un poco lo que hemos recibido a corte del año 2024. Colombia recibió más de 500,000 de turistas que viajaron con una intención de realizar negocio o asistir a eventos o convenciones o congresos en nuestro país, y esto representó el 15% del total de los ingresos para nuestro país. Los principales destinos a nivel de Colombia: que manejan el segmento de turismo de negocios corporativo MAI son Bogotá, Medellín, Cali y por supuesto Cartagena de Indias. Y a nivel de la región, estamos hablando que Colombia es el 5º país con mayor número de eventos realizados en este segmento. Y ahora un poco contarles de dónde vengo yo y lo que yo represento, que es Cartagena de Indias, lo que representa este segmento. Y como muy bien lo mencionaban previamente, Cartagena es una combinación perfecta entre el segmento vocacional y también muy fuerte del segmento corporativo. Y para ello mostrarles que la ciudad, a pesar de ser una ciudad pequeña, una ciudad que está en el Caribe colombiano y la joya del Caribe colombiano, tenemos muy buenas facilidades, muy buenos venues para la realización de eventos. Tenemos centros de convenciones, 5 centros de convenciones, pero además hoteles con facilidades para realización de eventos que van entre capacidad de 500 hasta 5.000 personas por cada uno de los eventos. Pero también Cartagena encanta y permite que los eventos sean memorables porque tenemos eventos que pueden ser realizados en venues no tradicionales como las fortificaciones, el centro amurallado y también edificios patrimoniales como tenemos el Castillo de San Felipe, el Cordón Amurallado y por supuesto recintos feriales como la Plaza de Todos, que solía ser una plaza de toros y hoy es un espacio para la cultura, pero también para grandes eventos en la ciudad, al igual que el centro comercial de la Cerrezuela, con una capacidad maravillosa hasta 1.200 personas. Cartagena ha tenido el honor de tener grandes eventos de país, eventos de Estado, eventos de organizaciones gubernamentales y no gubernamentales, y recientemente el honor de ser la sede número 122 del Consejo Ejecutivo de ONUTurismo en noviembre del 2024. Pero aparte de estos eventos también somos muy fuertes a nivel de Cartagena. En los últimos 15 años Cartagena ha recibido más de 350 congresos en el segmento de asociaciones médicas y científicas, laboratorios de diferentes países del mundo que escogen a Cartagena para realizar sus eventos. Contarles lo que significa este gran segmento para nuestra ciudad. Tenemos acá un total más de 28.000 personas que manifestaron al momento de ingresar a Cartagena que la motivación del viaje correspondía por eventos corporativos y también profesionales. Esto representa niveles de prepandemia un 18% más y a nivel de lo que significa la combinación entre masculino y femenino, estamos hablando que el 63% de los hombres van con esa intención en el segmento de negocios y el 37% corresponden a las mujeres de 3 nacionalidades muy importantes como lo son de Estados Unidos, de México y de Brasil. Cartagena tiene unas temporadas turísticas muy marcadas. El primer semestre es muy vacacional, en mes de abril con un componente también corporativo, pero el segundo semestre del año es el semestre más fuerte en la realización de congresos, de eventos, de convenciones y de viajes de incentivos. Algo muy importante es que Cartagena no tiene estaciones, siempre estamos en verano, 365 días del año. Somos una ciudad que realmente es muy segura para el tema de fenómenos naturales. Tenemos solamente 2 estaciones, que es verano e invierno, pero nuestro verano es muy seco y nuestro invierno es que llueve muchísimo y realmente no tenemos esos cambios climáticos. Somos una ciudad bendecida porque somos verano 365 días del año. Esta es la capacidad que tiene la ciudad también de poder albergar eventos, como por ejemplo en el segmento de eventos también somos muy fuertes en el segmento de romance, en el segmento de turismo deportivo, y esta es un ejemplo de cómo una gran camellón, una gran plaza de la ciudad se viste para poder también ser un venue no tradicional para estos grandes eventos. Y como la ciudad también, que está protegida por una bahía muy segura, aguas seguras, también como puede ser una plataforma para la realización de eventos deportivos como el Ironman, que se realiza en Cartagena de Indias en sus 2 versiones. Y también eventos del segmento de congresos, como el reciente que tuvimos con más de 5.000 asistentes el pasado mes de noviembre en Cartagena de Indias. Entonces, ¿cuáles son esos patrones o comportamientos que son claves para que Cartagena pueda considerarse y que pueda atraer este tipo de viajeros? Acá se los voy a resumir básicamente en 6 puntos. Primero, es un destino que conecta emocionalmente con cada uno de sus visitantes, que ofrece experiencias únicas, pero sobre todo que tiene la capacidad de tener experiencias memorables, no solamente para ir por negocios, sino también tenemos una fortaleza en el segmento de turismo gastronómico, cultural y por supuesto de una muy buena oferta tanto de bares y de restaurantes que han sido reconocidos a nivel internacional. Segundo, una oferta que combina perfectamente ese patrimonio. Cartagena es patrimonio histórico de la humanidad declarada por la UNESCO en el año 1984 y esa combinación, por supuesto, de tener infraestructuras modernas con tecnología de punta, pero también está rodeado de un patrimonio muy importante, nos hace un destino único con una gastronomía muy bien marcada, pero con unas influencias muy importantes por esa combinación raizal que tenemos en Cartagena. Número 3, para destacar, por supuesto, la conectividad aérea es muy importante, no solamente para los negocios, sino también para poder atraer más turistas hacia la ciudad y hemos crecido de una manera muy importante en materia de conectividad nacional e internacional para nuestro país. Y esto, pues, por supuesto, facilita que nuestros viajeros, independientemente de su motivación, puedan tener una manera fácil y segura para llegar a nuestro país. Y, por supuesto, esa posibilidad que en tanto nos gusta de poder combinar esa motivación que nos lleva a la ciudad de negocios con actividades complementarias de ocio que nos permitan maximizar el tiempo y el disfrute y esas memorias que queremos gestionar en nuestros turistas, en nuestros visitantes hacia la ciudad. ¿Cuáles son entonces esas iniciativas de fortalecimiento y atracción? Las podemos resumir en estos siguientes puntos. 1, infraestructura turística. Como les contaba, tenemos una amplia variedad de infraestructura turística. Cartagena cuenta con 343 hoteles de cadenas nacionales e internacionales. Este año Cartagena abre su primer Four Seasons en la ciudad, una noticia muy importante para seguir fortaleciendo el turismo de lujo en nuestra ciudad. Tenemos 81 venues tradicionales y no tradicionales para la realización de eventos en Cartagena e Indias. Tenemos 5 centros de convenciones, 7 museos y más de 24.000 camas disponibles para la realización de eventos en la ciudad. En materia de conectividad aérea, como les contaba, hemos venido haciendo un trabajo sostenido para conectar más y mejor a Cartagena. Conectamos con 7 destinos de manera directa nacionales con las principales capitales de la ciudad, como Medellín, Bogotá, Cali, Pereira, Bucaramanga, Cúcuta, y también con las islas de San Andrés y Providencia. Y a nivel internacional estamos conectando con 18 destinos internacionales de manera directa y seguimos trabajando para poder tener esa conectividad que nos permita que ese turista pueda llegar de manera directa a nuestra ciudad. Otro punto muy importante, pues las estrategias de marketing, toda la participación, todas las alianzas y todas las participaciones internacionales en estos eventos nos permiten tener una ciudad más conectada. Servicios especializados, tenemos un Convention and Visitor Bureau que nos permite tener ese contacto directo de poder hacer esas postulaciones y poder brindar a esas asociaciones ese servicio personalizado para poder atraer mayor número de eventos hacia nuestra ciudad. Por supuesto, Cartagena es una ciudad que encanta y que tiene la capacidad de generar experiencias únicas para nuestros turistas. Y por supuesto, y no menos muy importante, la sostenibilidad, ese trabajo sostenido que queremos hacer con nuestras comunidades locales, que podamos seguir incluyendo socialmente a tantas comunidades en la ciudad y por supuesto devolviéndole también al medio ambiente porque queremos y estamos trabajando en la atracción de eventos cada vez más sostenibles para nuestra ciudad. Por eso, este es el mensaje que queremos dejarle. Cartagena es un destino ideal para la realización de eventos, es una ciudad que permite que los eventos puedan realizarse con excelencia, con éxito y que por supuesto podamos dejar una huella memorable porque el gran reto no es que los turistas lleguen a la ciudad, el gran reto para un destino realmente es que siempre quieran volver y eso es lo que tiene Cartagena, una ciudad que encanta. Así que bienvenidos a Cartagena, India. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Liliana. Actually, UN Tourism is very looking forward to going back to Cartagena. And our next speaker will be talking about family stays. Families are a large portion of tourism demand. And we will have Fernando Barcenilla, Commercial Head of Travel at Allianz Partners, who will discuss how destination and services providers can cater to family stays, ensuring that a stress-free and enjoyable experience for families traveling together. Fernando?
Hello, good morning. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for the UN Tourism for inviting us, hosting us here. So today we come to speak about family travels. And before we focus on the families and how they travel, I would like to discuss a little bit about the macroeconomic situation and the travel industry situation. So although main indicators are stable now after these very controversial years after the pandemic. GDP is stable now. Inflation has stabilized in the Eurozone and most economies or Western economies. Unemployment remains stable in the Eurozone and other economies, but we live in a world full of uncertainties, right? And that can affect tourism in general and families in particular. So international conflicts, oil prices affecting airfares and international traveling, but also the US president just took office this very week, right, on Monday. And of course, there is a lot of uncertainty of how things are going to be in 2025. Regarding the travel industry, growth, so we have experienced growth in 2024. The volumes were above 2023 in all indicators. So number of trips per year, we can see that in the US, in the European Union, and in Spain in particular, the number or percentage of trips that have been abroad has also grown since the previous year, and also the budget for these trips has also grown, but in a very moderately. So if you take into consideration the inflation, we can say that it's stable since 2023. The growth has slowed down in 2024 compared to the previous years, right? If we look 2021 and 2022, and even the first half of 2023, we see massive growth with peaks up to 50% year or month over month. And excuse me, we see how in the second half of 2023, you can see it in the graph how this number has decreased, and we have achieved some maturity, if you want to call it, right? Like pandemic is fully over, and we have growth over last year around 5-6% in average. That is a little bit higher than the inflation, and this is when you know how after the pandemic we had a huge increase in pricings in both airfares and hotels, but we have seen over the last year, and this is the forecast for 2025, how these prices are going to remain stable, mainly on air flights and a little bit higher on the hotel price projections. So what are our expectations for 2025? We see that economic aspects remain the major concern for travelers. We can see the two main reasons. Also conflicts, international conflicts, as we were seeing before. Weather is always there. And we see a growing trend on sustainability, on destinations being overcrowded, and how locals are starting to increase demonstrations and protests against massification of tourism. And we have some examples here in Spain, like Barcelona and also Malaga suffered those pain points. So being the economic aspects the main concern for travelers, we see that European travelers, and this is going to impact the families as well, still control their budget increase. So we can see how most of the values remain equal, and only for those most expensive or high-end trips are growing a little bit. But again, they're controlling their budget, and they're doing this mainly by two drivers. So the first one is shortening up their trips. We continue to see that trend. So people travel more often, more trips throughout the year, but they are shorter. And also we are seeing, and I'm referring only to Europeans, how there is a clear trend to travel more and more within Europe. And this has to be with their two main concerns that we will see later. One of them is budget control. So if I travel within my neighbor countries, I can control my budget, and also because of security reasons. So families, some things remain the same, and I don't think that they will ever change, right? So first of all, they tend to spend more than the average. You're traveling with more people, right? They look for security, of course, and they look for budget control, so economic related, more than any other group, even youngers. Youngers, they prioritize travel budget, and well, I wouldn't say they don't care so much, but they're not so cautious about it as families are. And of course, medical services, accessibility, and they prefer, for example, to stay in an apartment rather than stay in a hotel, right? When you stay in a hotel with families and kids, sometimes you have to book 2 rooms, and when you compare to an apartment on an Airbnb, it's sometimes a no-brainer, right? Like it's much more convenient to stay in an apartment. So they have clear preferences for certain destinations, or beach and sun, cruises, even if they are expensive trips, we can consider them. But if you think about cruises, it's very easy to keep within the budget. You prepay your expenses, and then there is a few meals, a few excursions, a few drinks, but you can remain on budget. Theme parks continue to be big for families, of course. Nature and adventure, and something that we have seen in the latest surveys is that they do more escapes with children than before for certain European cities, and what they look in these escapes is things to do with kids, right? Like museum for kids, like some highlights for the children. This is something that even if families, of course, with the pass of the years, they're becoming more and more or gaining digital maturity, we can say. It's interesting how only behind seniors they prefer to book their trip with the travel agencies. And the main reasons when we ask them why you keep doing this is because of convenient services, and behind this lays the fact that families don't have a lot of time. They have to be with the kids and also work to raise them, right? Also because it's easy for them, again, to remain within budget. If you book with an agency, there are not so many things that you didn't plan, and also with all the support dealing with complexity. Something that we find very interesting, and I don't know if you knew, but it is a very clear pattern, is that women organize more trips than men when we're talking within the family. Something like 75, almost 80% women versus the men. And even when the man is planning the trip, 82% of those decisions are made by their counterpart. So I'm planning this, but what do you think about this hotel, or what do you think about this destination? Women prioritize, when there is a discussion about budget within the family, what we have to cut if we're tight on budget, the woman prioritize the vacation, so over than the car or the restaurants or whatever. They want to make sure that there is budget for the vacations. And although a big percentage of the families book through travel agencies, they still prefer independent travel. Let's say, like, I book with a travel agencies, but I go to a hotel. I'm not part of a package tour or going in a bus full of people that obviously older people do prefer. And something very interesting, and we see that with our own data. We sell travel insurance, right? So what we see is that the booking window, so when you buy or purchase your trip to where your trip starts, that window is always, is much bigger or longer when it's booked by a woman rather than by men, okay? This is very interesting, and we see it not only in Spain, but this is shared across the multiple BUs where we operate. And when we focus about travel insurance, the industry of travel insurance thought that right after the COVID, we had reached our peak, and that there was going to be a decrease on the penetration of travel insurance after people were not so worried about the disease. We were wrong. right now we have never seen such a penetration. Like this is the purchase intention for international destination, 94, and that is including trips within Europe. That before they say, no, I have my social security, I'm partly covered, but no, they purchase like a more comprehensive protection for their trips. And the two main reasons why people, and especially families, travel with a travel insurance is, the first is everything that is related to medical assistance, cost, and not only the cost to protect economically, but also to make sure that they have the best access to the best possible health service where they are. And the other, you know it, right? It's about within budget, okay? So it's not so much about spending more, but it's about keeping it under the budget. So every cover where we cover cancellation, delays, something that can become an extra cost for the families is when they purchase a travel insurance. So this is all for me. Thank you very much. I hope you find it interesting. I hope that you have a safe trip back home. And thank you again for hosting us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fernando, for letting us know more about how family travels. And now we are going to look into how travel has changed by remote work. We used to plan our holidays taking into consideration that we might have 20 or 30 days per year, but now there are people that work remotely the entire year. So in order to tell us more about how this is taking shape, we have Nikolaos Golfinopoulos, Head of Tourism and Senior Manager at the consultancy firm ICF International, and he will guide us on how or what we can expect from digital nomads to behave and what's the best way to attract them.
Thank you. Thank you for trying to pronounce my surname. Hello everyone, I hope that you're doing very well. I'm still catching my breath because I was running from the center, but here I am, so please help me with some questions that I have for you so that you speak instead of me, or at least you raise your hands. So, who of you are representing destinations? Please just raise your hand. Any destination, countries, destination, regions, please raise your hands. Okay, and who of you are representing companies, private sector? Please also raise your hand. Okay, all right. So here, this is a topic that affects us all, but in a different manner, right? So we're gonna explore what is the digital nomad. It's not exactly tourism unless you want to take a definition of tourism that is very flexible. If you want to take a definition of tourism that is very, let's say, solid and very limited, then maybe you wouldn't include digital nomads there. But it does affect our visitor economy, and this is the important thing here. So, what we will do in this presentation, first of all, we will talk about who are the digital nomads, what is it, and the definitions that exist. Then we'll go to selected market insights. Please take the market insights with a pinch of salt, just because digital nomadism, it's not regulated. It's not being monitored by countries in the similar way, in a standard way, meaning that any insights that we have are approximate. So I will share some insights from multiple sources just to try to be as inclusive as possible. However, we need to be careful with the insights that we share for topics that we are not sure how to measure them. And as a researcher, I have an obligation to let you know. So then we go to the regulations and the regulatory frameworks that exist about digital nomadism, considerations for destinations, and then strategic recommendations. Throughout, I will show you also some case studies. So first of all, who are the digital nomads? So talking about digital nomads, there are different definitions here. I will not read them, but I will put them in the screen for you to read them yourself. What I will do, I will say that there is no standard definition that says an authority that it's big, at least for tourism, that says this is the definition of digital nomads. However, we see that there are a lot of commonalities. The commonalities that we see here on who is a digital nomad is, first, they can work from wherever they want. They have that capability. Who of you have remote contracts? So you can work remotely and not having to go to the office. Please raise your hand. Okay, just a few of you. Who of you have remote contract that allows you to work from wherever in the world you want? Okay, so here we have some potential digital nomads. For example, I am a remote worker. My contract allows me to work remotely, not going to the office, but only within Spain. And this is because of the regulatory framework and the taxation reasons. So as destinations, if you want to attract the digital nomads, you need to have that in mind. As companies, if you want to facilitate that, you need to change and facilitate the regulations and the laws within your company, the policies that will allow your employees to work from abroad. So, some insights. As I said, please, with a pinch of salt. So what we see here is that 44% of all the digital nomads are employee nomads, meaning that they belong in a company that allows them to go and work from abroad. The other percent, the 56%, are independent professionals, so they have their own company, and they just work from wherever they want. So here you have a balance, more or less, of course in favor of the independent ones, of who is working because he's an employee, but it's allowed to go and travel and live from abroad, and who creates their own company and just work from wherever they want. So accounting for digital nomads accounts for 18.1 million US citizens in 2024. This is an insight that we have from the US, which is one of the main markets that exports digital nomads. So in 2024, we expect about we calculated 18.1 million US citizens to be digital nomads. From 10.9 million in 2020 to 35 million in 2024, this is global numbers of digital nomads, we see that the market is growing. 47% of digital nomads are aged between 30 to 39 years old. 35% of digital nomads earn between $100,000 and $250,000 US dollars, meaning that they have, this is for you to understand what spending capacity they will have in your destination if they visit. 43% of digital nomads are female. Most of the digital nomads earn at least $50,000 USD dollars. 90% of digital nomads have completed higher education. And finally, the digital nomad population is expected to grow to 60 million by 2030, meaning it's a trend that is growing. Again, please, with a pinch of salt, this data, right? Okay, so moving from the selected market insights, and I don't want to frustrate Juan Carlos as well, who will be keeping time, we have some regulation examples. So we have countries from all of the regions. Here we'll focus only Europe and Asia, on countries that have tried to implement a framework to attract the digital nomads. So here we have first Portugal, that offers a digital nomad visa. However, they do that for about a year. There is a possibility to do it for a second year if you want to, and the applicants must show proof of income and health insurance. Croatia, introduced in 2021, valid for 1 year, and it's non-renewable. Requirements include proof of remote work, income of at least 2,870 euros per month, and health insurance and clean criminal record. What do we see here? We see that the limit that they put per month is above the average income that a Croatian person would normally have in their country. Estonia, one of the first countries to offer the digital nomad visa, allowing stays for up to 1 year. Applicants must prove that they work remotely and meet a minimum income threshold. Let's move to Asia now. Thailand, the smart visa, so you will see different names, and this is another issue of us monitoring these things, allow remote workers to stay for up to 4 years. So huge change. We have Europe that says, okay, up to 1 year, maybe extension for another one, or just below 1 year. And then we have Thailand that say up to 4 years. Indonesia, the digital nomad visa allow remote work stay for up to 1 year with a minimum income requirement of 60,000 US dollars. Compare that with what your perception is about the average annual income of an Indonesian person. Japan launched the digital nomad visa in 2024, allowing stays for up to 6 months, and applicants must earn at least 68,300 euros annually. dollars, sorry. So here were some examples, right? And now I want to show you 2 case studies. Lisbon, Portugal. So Lisbon has become popular destination for digital nomads because of the vibrant culture, because of the affordable cost of living infrastructure, and the excellent excellent experience that the city offers. What is the impact that they have seen? First of all, because there is reliable internet, it's becoming an attracting factor. And the impact on the economy is increased spending in local businesses, boosting the economy, social impact, formation of digital nomads communities, fostering cultural exchange, and challenges, rising housing cost and gentrification. So again, we must be very strategic if we want to attract the market, just because they might create some problems for our countries and our destinations. So when we want to open this door, we must be very, very careful on how we do it, where geographically, and for how long. Moving to the next case study, Thailand, Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is a top destination for digital nomads due to its low cost of living, and they earn a lot to go to Thailand. Rich culture and strong community support. The city offers numerous co-working spaces and reliable internet. Significant contribution to the economy, as we would expect, spending in accommodation, in food, in experiences that they do when they're in Thailand. Social, development of a vibrant digital nomad community. This, though, creates a bubble. Promoting cultural exchange. So you have the bubble of the digital nomads in Thailand that do have exchange with the local population, because the nomads themselves want to experience what the locals have to offer. However, that exchange does not necessarily mean that it's beneficial for the local population. So we need to have in our mind the social sustainability very high when we focus on this market. Balancing tourism with local needs and managing the environmental impact is a challenge indeed. Moving on from the case studies to considerations for destination. Here we have different categories, starting with infrastructure and connectivity. Reliable internet access, co-working spaces, and transportation are very important for your destination in order to attract digital nomads. So issues like high-speed internet, multiple internet service providers, public Wi-Fi spots, availability of co-working spaces, variety of working environments, and affordable membership plans are one of the basics, but transportation also comes to play with official public transportation systems necessary, because they might be afraid to drive in your city, depending which country you are, or they might not even have a driving license that is allowed in your country. Available of riding, sharing services, and proximity to major airports. Next category, cost of living. Here, affordable housing, variety of accommodation options, reasonable rental prices, and short-term rental availability. Here, this is a benefit for the market. However, we must not forget that this might be a big challenge and create disruption to our local community, because if rent prices go up, then our local community might not be able to cope up with and afford these prices. Daily expenses, cost of groceries and dining out, affordable healthcare services, and reasonable utility costs. Let's go to the next category here. Safety and security, crucial. Low crime rates, safe neighborhoods, reliable emergency service. If you want the digital nomads to come with their high spending power that they have, then you must secure safety. And if you cannot secure safety in the whole of your country or in the whole of the area, then just try to create safer spaces where they will decide and they will feel comfortable to come and reside. Health and wellness. Access to quality healthcare facilities, available of health insurance options, and wellness center gyms. Juan Carlos, how do I go? Do I have to rush? Okay. Community and social life. So digital nomad community. Here, as a destination, you should facilitate the creation of these communities, because the word of mouth of each of the digital nomad, of how well they had an experience in your destination, will make other digital nomads come to you. So presence of an active digital nomad community, networking events and meetups, online forums and support groups. Now, they will create this by themselves. However, if you do not control the narrative as a destination, that it controls you. So it's very important, if you're a destination, to also monitoring what is being said for you, improve if there are challenges, and also be the one who is controlling the messaging that comes out to them. Cultural and recreation activities, availability of cultural events, recreational activities, and language classes and cultural immersion programs. So rest assured, when someone decides to go to another destination, to another country, to stay for up to a year or up to 4 years in certain destinations, they want to immerse themselves. They are not exactly tourists, but they're not exactly expats. They're somewhere in the limbo. So, legal and administrative reasons, very, very important. Maybe this is one of the most important parts for you to start with. Visa and residency, availability of digital nomad visas, or however you want to name it, like Smart Visa in Thailand, clear visa application process, reasonable visa requirements, like proof of income and health insurance. Taxation, favorable tax policies for digital nomads. Remember that there are countries that will double tax them, so double taxation agreements would be crucial as well, and availability of tax advisor in your country that are catering to their markets that they're coming from. And moving on, work-life balance. Quiet and comfortable workspaces, access to office supplies and equipment, and flexible working hours. Leisure and relaxation is also very important, so that the areas that you decide to create for them or you decide to promote for digital nomads to have proximity to nature and outdoor activities, available leisure facilities, and opportunities for relaxation and downtime. Remember, they're coming there and they're working. They're not coming there to be completely tourists. They will have the 9-to-5 job or even more, because we know remote work made us work more. At least that was my case. Don't know how about yours. And moving on to one more category, technological and innovational support. So you cannot have digital nomads if you're not digital enough. So presence of tech hubs and innovation centers, availability of tech-related events and conferences catered to them, support for startups and entrepreneurs. Why is that important? You saw more than 50% of them have their own businesses. They can do digital nomadism exactly because they have their own businesses. So support for startups and entrepreneurs is very important. Digital services, availability of digital banking and payment services, access to online government services, and reliable postal courier services. So before I let you go, 2 slides. Destinations should invest in infrastructure, create community events, offer incentives to attract digital nomads, and final, you have to realize that your digital nomads are not the only market that you're attracting. They can become a pulling factor for more tourism. Which is exactly this pulling factor? I'm a digital nomad. I decided to go to live in Thailand. My friends and relatives would like me to visit because they will see it an opportunity to visit the country. So I'm a digital nomad, but I'm becoming a pulling factor of visiting friends and relatives. So the VFR segment. So through digital nomads, you access as well visiting friends and relatives. And it's very important because when you have someone on the ground, you feel most safe, and it's easier for you to make the decision to go to that destination. Companies, it's not only about destinations. If companies and destinations do not work together, digital nomadism cannot flourish. So implement flexible work policies, address legal and logistic challenges, provide resources for remote work, and finally, support employees and mental health. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nikos, for giving us all these details and recommendations to attract digital nomads. And now we're going to talk about a topic that has a lot to do with population trends in a lot of key source markets in countries like the US, France, Germany, UK, Japan. Population is getting older and older, and that makes the segment of senior travelers a lot bigger and a lot more important. And in order to talk about that, we have Ms. Irene Garcia, Head of Business and Chief Data Officer at MATWI, Mafre Worldwide Digital Assistant, who will explore the needs and preference of the senior travelers.
Verdad, thank you. Well, hello, and first of all, thank you very much to you and Tourism to invite us to be part of this very interesting conversation. We've already talked about family travelers, we talked about digital nomads, we're now going to be talking about seniors, senior travelers. So I'm not going to ask you how many of you here are over 55. We'll keep that to ourselves. But what we consider senior travelers is anybody over 55 or older seniors over 65. Especially there is certain milestone, which is retirement, which means that there's people that will have more time to travel. So that's what we consider older seniors. This is a very growing population as well, and it's got these unique characteristics. According to the United Nations, in 2050, there'll be 2.1 billion people over 60 years. The population is growing older, and also the life expectancy is getting longer. So the amount of people here is growing. I definitely know that in 2050 I'll be an older senior. I'll definitely like to be a happy senior traveler when I get there. This type of population, they also got increased purchasing power because their income is more stable, it's not subject to volatility, it comes from pensions or savings. They're very worried about health and well-being. They reach a stage in life where they're very concerned about taking care of themselves, and also they have more time to do so. They're very tech savvy and also independent. We have some stats that say that more than 50% of over 55 years old already have booked a trip online. So they're quite online and internet focused. And also the retired people these days, they got higher education. So retirement marks a certain turning point in their lives that gives them definitely more time to travel. But if we look at the percentage of senior travelers within the tourist population within all these countries, we can see that, for example, in Europe, about 20% of the tourists are already senior travelers. But if we go to countries like North America, already nearly 40% of tourism are already senior travelers. And if we go forward to 2050 again, we can see that international travel undertaken by people over 60 years or will account for more than $2 billion. So this is definitely a segment that is worth starting thinking about and targeting. What sort of things are senior travelers looking for? They look for comfort and quality, so they're willing to pay for quite higher quality services such as luxury accommodation or organized tours. They're looking for longer stays, relaxing. I'm pretty sure that they will love to go to Petra. I know that Tanzania and Cartagena de Indias will also, well, at least for me, will be a very keen destination because they have an interest in emerging destinations as well, experience and sustainability, looking for eco-friendly and promote local developments as well. But they're also accessible to digital platforms, and a growing number of seniors are planning to book their trips online. If we're trying to target this type of segment, what sort of communication or how do we have to approach them? Well, one is the tone of communication. It has to be a serious tone. These people have a lot of experience, but it has to be warm, formal, friendly. The themes and contents that they're interested in are informative, educational, and also preventive when it comes to health and safety. The channels that they use, they're very linked to traditional media, but they're also starting to use quite a lot of social networks, and they're looking for influencers that are more brand ambassadors, people that can bring experience and reputation, and they're very interested in relevant offers, but not just interested in price, more about the quality and also how they're going to be looked after in their health and any needs they have. And I was very keen to hear about Ithaca talking about accessible flights and accessible and how they're regulating people that will have to look after vulnerable travelers, carrying wheelchairs and things like that. When it comes to travel insurance, senior travelers are people that will definitely look for travel insurance. And what is it that they look for when they're looking at a travel insurance? They want robust medical coverage, including all sort of emergencies. And they're very interested, especially in pre-existing medical conditions. Senior travelers, there's a lot of a higher percentage of people with chronic disease already. So they will want to make sure that they cover when they have travel insurance. Interested as well in trip cancellation or interruption. You can have a health issue that will stop you from traveling for something that you have already booked. So they will want to make sure that the coverage have got trip cancellation. 24/7 medical assistance in their language. So you're traveling abroad, you have an issue with your health, you will want to make sure that you can talk to a person in your own language. So that will give them peace of mind and confidence when they get that policy. Also, we look at things like repatriation. If you have a health issue in a foreign country, you will want to make sure that your policy covers you for a repatriation with an air ambulance or with a medical plane. So they will be looking for those sort of things in their policy as well. And specific care services. This is vulnerable customers sometimes. And they will look for protection for mobility equipments like wheelchairs or walkers, and also assistance in booking accessible accommodation. We at Maudi, part of a Mafre group, we like senior travelers to enjoy the adventure of traveling with complete peace of mind and confidence. So that's why we design our policies, our travel insurance policies for that, to make sure that they're supported by a company that truly understands and cares about their unique needs. What sort of things have we included in our travel insurance policies that will find them interesting? In terms of digitalization, we have in all our policies, we have telemedicine facilities. So if you are abroad, you're traveling abroad, and you want to talk to a doctor, but it's not such a serious problem, but you still want to talk to a doctor rather than looking for a hospital or looking for a healthcare office. So we give you the option to talk to a doctor in your own language through an app, through the web. An app that is inclusive, is an accessible platform. It'll be available in any device, and with it will also. Sometimes we provide advanced diagnostic technologies to can identify your own symptoms. It has a standardized quality of care protocol, and also, of course, it's got the highest standards of information security. But also to stop you in a foreign country to go into a hospital or looking for a health clinic, is also helping to you traveling less and contributing somehow to create a better atmosphere and a better world, stopping you from traveling. And the other thing we wanted to tell you about for travel insurance for senior travelers is some insurance in the market, they do a medical score. So you're a senior traveler looking for a policy, they will give you a health insurance checklist where they can the traveler can make sure that the policyholder, that the travel insurance know what chronic disease you have, and you're going to be covered for that for those diseases or for those pre-existing medical conditions when you're traveling abroad. Also, with our telemedicine, the other thing that we provide is medical prescriptions. If you need a medical prescription, we can serve that through the telemedicine service. You're not going to have to go to a hospital for a medical prescription to then go to a chemist to get that medicine that you've been prescribed. So that's something that will facilitate your journey. And also we have another add-on service, which is access to VIP lounges at airports in case of flight delays, so you don't have to stand around. We will give you a bit of comfort while you're waiting in the airport for your flight. And this is all we wanted to tell you today about senior travelers. So I'm just gonna leave you now with a video that we have created for this occasion. Well, thank you very much. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Irene, for demonstrating how the travel industry can evolve to the needs of the senior travelers. And now we're going to Brazil, the host country, the guest partner country for this edition of Fitur. And we have the pleasure to having with us Ms. Ana Beatriz, Institutional Manager at the Brazilian Association of Travel Agency, who will be highlighting how gastronomy is not just a complement to tourism, but also a decision factor for travelers to decide where to go. Ana, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming to see us. Thank you, UN Tourism, for the invitation. Us at Above are very proud to be the newest affiliate member at the UN Tourism. So the culinary enthusiasts are looking for different kinds of activities when they visit a destination. And I really believe that it's one of the fastest ways to having a authentic experience in a destination. So we're talking food tours, local chefs, local market visits, agro-tourism, cooking classes, food festivals. And according to the World Food Travel Association, 53% of leisure travelers are food travelers, and it brings an added 25% economic benefit to a destination. They also found that 63% of millennials seek socially responsible restaurants when they travel. In Brazil lately, we have found out that culture and culinary are growing as a domestic travel motivation. So we see that for 2023, since the pandemic, people are looking to travel more for those reasons. I would like to very briefly talk to you about one of our food destinations in Brazil. Belém is located in the Brazilian Amazon at the delta of the Amazon River, and it was designated one of the creative cities by UNESCO in 2015, and it is going to host later this year the climate conference COP30. I really hope some of you have the opportunity to go and visit Brazil, the Amazon, and Belém during the conference. According to local restaurants in the more touristic areas, today 30 to 35% of their demand comes from travelers, and we are expecting at least 40,000 visitors during the COP30 conference. So it is going to bring a significant impact to the local economy, the realization of this event there. So I would like to just mention some of the food tours that you can do when you go to Belém. The public market is called Ver o Peso. It's by the river. All the boats come with the local produce from around, and you can also see all of the spices and the local food being prepared, and you can also try the local food. It's like the most classic thing to do in Belém when you go. If you just have one day, one thing to do, you go to the market, and that's going to be amazing. There's also a very interesting tour that you can do. Like I said, Belém is located in the delta of the Amazon River, so there are several islands around in the outskirts of the city, and one of them is called Combu, and they do the chocolate tour. They've been working with Sebrae Pará, which is the Brazilian service for small businesses. And the food tour is bringing additional income and jobs for the community. Pará, the state where Belém is located, is responsible for 52% of the cocoa production of Brazil. So the community is already benefiting from the cocoa production, and tourism is bringing an added revenue and income to the community. And it is a bioeconomy alternative. So they are increasing the revenue at the same time protecting the rainforest, the Amazon rainforest. Also the acai, I don't know how many of you knew that acai comes from this area in Brazil. 90% of all the acai comes from there. If you ever tried acai, chances are it came from this area. And you can also see how they harvest, how they process the project until it comes to the form that we are used to trying acai. And I would like to highlight that with a project with the Emater, which is the service that supports local producers in Brazil. In the Jussara Island, the women are leading the harvest of the acai. So they were able to increase by 50% the production of that community by including the women. So the men are responsible for bringing the acai by boat to Belém, to that market that I mentioned, and the women are the ones climbing the palms to collect the acai fruits. The yucca flower, yucca is probably one of the most Brazilian food that you will ever find. It is consumed all over Brazil. And there in the Amazon, you can go to one traditional house, we call it, where they are producing the yucca flower. And that's very close to our hearts because it's a very Brazilian thing. It's what is used to make farofa and all of those Brazilian typical food. And the city of Belém have been organizing for the last 8 years the Island Gastronomy Festival. So the islands take turns hosting the festival, the local restaurants take part. It is a very interesting way. It's also increasing the revenue for the local businesses and promoting Belém and the area as a gastronomic hub. So I will use the fun that was there for us, right? Like to talk about the recipe. What makes Belém be such an important gastronomy destination right now? And one of the things is the heavy use of local ingredients. They take full advantage of their location, being in the Amazon with the fish, the local ingredients like the acai, the Brazil nut comes from there, and all different kinds of spices. And I also wanted to highlight some of the projects like the chocolate tour and also the acai tour, where support services in Brazil are working closely with the communities to make the food tours be an alternative to increase their revenues, and also the organization of local and international events like the food festival and now hosting the COP30. So yeah, that will be it for today. Muito obrigada, gracias, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Ana, for taking us also to Brazil. And last but not least, we have Mr. Joel Diaz, Membership Manager for Europe at the International LGBTQ Plus Travel Association, who will be talking to us about how to attract this segment. I was very impressed to see on the slides that if the LGBT community was a country, it will be the third largest country by GDP. So Joel will be telling us more about this. Joel, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you so much to UN Tourism for this kind invitation. I am Joel Diaz, Membership Manager of a GLTA for the European region. The International LGBTQ+ Travel Association has been a proud affiliate member of UN Tourism since 2010, and we work together towards a more inclusive society. So today we will learn more and have some insights about which is the impact of LGBTQ+ tourism and travel for destinations. So what is LGBTQ+ tourism? Is this segment or this type of tourism that caters to the special needs of the LGBTQ+ people. What is LGBTQ+ people? It covers all the sexual and gender spectrum existing in the world. And this kind of tourism, it has a special focus on the protection and the respect of human rights for this community. So these are some of the economic impact that LGBTQ+ tourism has in the world. First of all, it is estimated that we have a power expenditure of $218 billion per year. This was a study done in 2023 by Globe Trender. It's not done by us. It's an statistic organization in the United States, and it's also estimated that by 2030 it will be almost 3 times this number, 600 billions. So as you can see, it's a quite important number, and that's why destination needs to develop a clear strategy on how to address this kind of tourism. And also, very interesting research mentioned that 25% of Gen Z in the United States identifies as LGBTQ+, which means a quarter of the population identifies as sexual diverse. It means that you cannot miss a strategy of this big amount of people. And as in the introduction was mentioned, if we were a country globally, we will be the third biggest country in terms of GDP with $4.7 trillion because of the amount of people. We think that we are a minority, but the amount of LGBTQ people is enormous, and every year we are becoming more open, more proud, and willing to travel more and discover more. So it's not all about financial and economic impact. The LGBTQ+ tourism has also a big impact into the society, right? So what's the social impact of LGBT travel? When LGBTQ+ people encounters local communities, there is an effect of opening minds and hearts. And this creates an environment of inclusion and also peace, which is very aligned with UN tourism sustainability goals. And that's why we also worked very hard on sustainability. Also, this social, let's say, environment created, impulsed also by the economic impact, drives to political and policy changes that creates drives to a change in the society, driving to more respect and more peace among the local communities. And of course, there is also a cultural impact. This encounter also enriches both sides of society. We can learn from each other. We can interact each other and understand and discover which are these differences and how to solve them. This is one of the positive effects that LGBTQ+ tourism have. And of course, there are some challenges as well in terms of cultural impact. Sometimes one negative possible impact is like the LGBTQ+ community could be stigmatized or hyper-commercialized, but the benefits of LGBT tourism in the culture often are bigger than the problems. So I would like to explain a little bit more about the AGLTA Foundation, which is the philanthropic side of the association. Our association is the leading network of LGBT travel in the world. We have presence in around 80 countries with many destinations and all the supply chain of the tourism industry, from hotel chains, tour operators, travel guides, airlines, basically because LGBT people uses all the services of the tourism industry. To travel, you need to take every service. So basically, all the different kind of companies and segments can work towards have inclusive policies. So which are the 3 main pillars of the foundation? Leadership, research, and education. Through the research that we do in many countries, as I was saying, we have presence in 80 countries with many different situations, legal situations, different kinds of governments, different kinds of cultural aspects of the way they view the LGBT people. We research and we work with the destinations for creating knowledge and to provide this to the industry. So you know which are the needs of the LGBT people and how you can contribute to a more inclusive industry. So we have many different programs. One of them is the Emerging LGBTQ plus destinations, in which, as you can see, some of them has a lack of legal infrastructure or lack of support from governments or even the society. But we from AGLTA, we support entrepreneurs from these countries and we provide them opportunities to go to our convention. We organize the AGLTA Global Convention, which is the leading event of LGBT tourism in the world, every year in a different country. And we sponsor these entrepreneurs to come and to do business, because in this way we are giving back to the LGBT people and we are causing a real impact to these countries, and that's basically our mission, to create a world that is better for the LGBT tourists. These are some of the countries that we work with this specific program, and these are some of the research projects that we have realized. We have the Inclusive Language Guide, which explains in detail how to treat the LGBTQ plus people in the business, and it was created in partnership with Miles. We also have the Florida Survey, which explains how to act in certain political conditions, let's say, and how it affects tourism and how we can collaborate with the local institutions to improve the situation. And we have many other research projects directed by Simple View with the government of Canada, and also some studies research done in Asia, which is a very particular market, and how things and trends are changing through the years. Okay, this is the program that I was speaking before. We educate also the industry through many different events around the world. The main event that we organize is the AGLTA convention. This year we've been in Palm Springs, California. Last year was in Japan, in Osaka. And next year we'll be here in Spain, which is a very, very inclusive, and we are very proud of working with Tour Spain and with many different cities like Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla, Torremolinos, towards a more inclusive nation. If you want to learn more, please, you have these QR codes. It's been a pleasure for me to talk to you about LGBT tourism, and if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joel. And those were the presentations from today. I hope you have found them fruitful and interesting. And now, to conclude today's session, we have our director, Mr. Jon Vilku, who will be giving us closing remarks. And before that, I would like to ask all the speakers to stay for the final picture.
Muy buenos días a todos. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to say that I am really proud and I'm really happy to have this opportunity to finalize a new edition of this space that from UN Tourism we are organizing during the last year as value of your membership, of the affiliate members, but also as a platform to deliver value and good information and best practices to all the tourist sector. I would like to say that we started to organize this kind of events in the main fair of tourism since 2020, and I had the opportunity to see that it was very well received by our affiliate members and partners. So seeing also the interest raised by this edition, please rest assured that we will continue to do our best effort to diversify and to strengthen this format. Because from our point of view, this space, this platform we are offering you within Fitur, first of all, it's an excellent opportunity to showcase and to share with you the value of the partnership that UN Tourism is having with the private sector, with the local administration, with the destination through the affiliate membership. And also, it's an excellent opportunity staying in touch with you to choose every edition topics of high priority for the tourism sector, as was this year, for example, the opportunity to invite distinguished entities affiliated to UN Tourism to share with you the specificity and the tendency of so interesting segment of tourism that you have the opportunity to see today. We think that this is a very useful source of information and best practices for all the attendees, not only affiliate members, for all the stakeholders from the tourism industry that could attend this kind of event. And finally, I would like also to send to all of you a message of gratitude of the Secretary General, because we consider that our partnership with the private sector, with the affiliate members, it's a real asset of the organization and consequently a real asset for the tourism industry. And finally, I would like to express our gratitude to not only to the speakers, to the entities that responded enthusiastically to our call in this edition, but also to many other affiliate entities that would have enjoyed to stay today here, but we had to make a selection because the time is limited. But it's important to underline the huge success that our call for proposal had, and this is very encouraging for us to continue and to diversify our offer for you within the big international tourist fair, and also to thanks to my team who is working a lot to improve the quality of the format we are offering to you. I can tell you that I received a lot of big ideas and proposals, and I'm really grateful to the effort made by Juan Carlos and by all my team. And I hope to have very soon the opportunity to share similar experiences with you, not only within the big fairs like the ITB in Berlin, like World Tourism Market, but also in the framework of the big statutory meetings that UN Tourism organize, Executive Council, General Assembly, because it's always important to have the private sector, to have the local administration, to have the destination, to have our affiliate members participating in all the debates on priority topics. Thank you very much. I wish you all to have a fruitful Fitur, to enjoy the rest of Fitur and your stay in Madrid. And I look forward to meeting you soon in other similar opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ion. And now I will be just calling the different affiliate members that were here today to hand over a certificate of participation as a means of appreciation that you were part of this event today. So first, because she needs to leave to an event to moderate, I would like to call Linda Ristaño from IATA. Thank you. And now I would like to call Dr. Fares from Petra, please. Thank you. And now, please, Ms. Veshna from Tanzania Tourism Operators Association. Now, please, Ms. Liliana Rodriguez from Cartagena de Indias. No. Now, please, Mr. Nikolaos Gofinopoulos from ICF. Now, please, Irene Garcia from Matwi. Now, please, Fernando Barcenilla from Allianz.
Muchísimas gracias por la participación y felicitaciones por la presentación. Y bueno, seguimos. Esa es la idea.
Now, please, Ana Beatriz from the Brazilian Association of Travel Agencies. And now, please, Joel Diaz from the International LGBTQ+ Travel Association. Sí. And now, if I may, thank you again, all the participants. And if I can ask all the speakers from today to come to the stage for a group picture. Sí. We wait for Nikos. Thank you so much and see you next year.